According to Mythos, 100% of you are subscribed. Good job! There is so much we don't know about the world of Star Rail, but one of the things that help us figure it out, surprisingly, are the curios that can be found within the Divergent universe. Hello, welcome to another part of the series where we will be going over the lore of every single curio that has been added in the Protean Hero chapter of the Divergent universe. A lot of these curios are super interesting and fascinating, especially the first one if I do say so myself, so I cannot wait to hear your guys' opinions down in the comments. As always, at the very beginning, you'll be able to see the entire lore of the curio, so if you wish to pause and read for yourself, you're more than welcome to do so. After that, I'll begin reading the curio piece by piece, so if you want to follow along, I'll be reading it so you don't have to. I certainly hope you enjoyed today's video, and with that, let us get on with it. Asat Pramad's dies. Head. Due to his bizarre aesthetics of destruction, Asat Pramad has garnered quite a following in the cosmos. After an acceptable amount of staff casualties, the nosy daredevils of Interastral Peace Entertainment managed to snap photos of this Lord Ravager and produce a set of fan merchandise based on his image. However, due to some as yet unknown principle, this die always lands on the same number. The Intelligentsia Guild speculates that this is because randomness or chaos is an essential component of elation. If a die knew its result before being cast, wouldn't it just take all the fun out of it? Okay, two quick things here. The first thing is, I love how it's like, oh, we created fan merchandise of this entity that's destroying the universe. What? But like at the same time, the fact that the dice follows a principle anti-elation, because Asat Pramad is the Lord Ravager that is going against Aha. It's so funny to me, and it's perfect, and I just love the flavor of this curio. Automaton of Truth. To counter the reckless distortions of history by history fictionologists, the usually reserved Candelographos decided to take proactive measures. The Scholars of Candles engineered an Automaton of Truth, designed to unveil the truth and obliterate all fictional constructs. True to its purpose, the Automaton of Truth admirably completed its first task. It self-destructed. After all, the automaton itself was a fictional creation. Okay, now this one is a paradox that confuses my brain, because it is meant to destroy everything that is fictional, but because it in itself is fictional, it deleted itself in concept. So like, it's absolute insanity the way that it works, but it is so funny. And at that point, that's just a skill issue. That being said, when I was first reading this, halfway through, before I learned that it destroyed itself, I was like, ooh, this could be like interesting if you bring it over to Nihilux, because Nihilux is just writing a lot of just fiction, right? According to like that one trailer. But we don't have to worry about that, because this just doesn't exist. Benediction Shards. The Titans have all either fallen silent or demised, but their benedictions remain in this world. The calls and bellows of the past were sealed into crystals and will bring some meager hope to those who will come after them. But if such benedictions exist independently of the Titans, then what came first? Titans or divine authority? The Grove had once conducted a spectacular debate on this topic, but could not reach an answer before the participants' rage overwhelmed their reason. I love the fact that this is just like the whole question of like, what came first, the egg or the chicken? Did the divine authority come first or the Titans? I feel like the divine authority had to exist in order for a Titan to ascend. Like, that is what my logic says, but at the same time, we don't know, but that's kind of interesting. Contemplation Disc. Under the gentle caress of the chrysalis of gold, even the stoniest of hearts can grasp the essence of love. Butterflies etched melodies onto the stone disc as a testament to the beauty and art of the world. From majestic choral performances and solitary bardic verses to the distant calls of birds from the wilderness. In the praise song of the devout, the Contemplation Disc meticulously recreates every note, making it an elegant tool for showcasing personal taste at social gatherings in Okima. However, remember not to switch someone else's music casually, as this could provoke the wrath of Menestia. Deep sleep. Scholars typically resolve their differences through papers and debates, but for the armed archaeologists, physical intervention proves more effective. Deep sleep was invented for the purpose. When the lampshade shatters, its wave-like particles permeate solid walls, inducing infant-like sleep in those who breathe them in. However, always measure the wind direction before use, especially avoiding downwind deployments. Okay, so they just decided to make sleeping gas that can just sip through walls. That is wild. But I also love the fact that these people were just like, yeah, I'm not gonna bother debating. Go to sleep. Boom. Door's other side. From a certain perspective, the priests of Yanis and the thieves of Zagreus share a common interest: their study of all sorts of doors. The difference lies in their methods. The former approaches them through scholarship, while the latter relies on the art of thievery. This is why a legendary artifact set to unlock all doors became a point of contention between the two factions. The struggle continued until the master thief, Lycos, managed to steal it from the Temple of Yanis. Seeking to test its power, he discovered that the artifact indeed opened any door, but only to a random location on the other side. With this revelation, the thieves quickly lost interest. You know, this curio is pretty interesting and I like it a lot just because of the fact that, one, it's a literal doorknob with an infinity sign as a handle, so already pretty cool. However, I just like the implications of it, because like, this could be such a perfect escape tool, but it sucks for what, you know, the thieves want to do. They want to be able to enter any place. They're confident in their ability to escape, so this is irrelevant to them. They just need to make sure that they can enter a vault. But this would not let them. This would just tease them, be like, hey, you opened the door to the vault. Welcome to Castrum Kremnos. And they'll be like, what the hell? So, I like this flavor-wise. The story is funny. Fortune Robe. Once, an unlucky thief stumbled upon a black-robed old man on the roadside. Showing his whiplash-swollen legs, the thief knelt and begged for a hiding place to escape his pursuers. The old man graciously opened his robe, signaling the thief to hide inside. When the pursuers arrived, all they found was a squeaking, lame black rat, while the old man had vanished, along with the thief's star, Zagreus. You know, I really like this curio just because it's very flavorful. I love the fact that Zagreus disguises himself as, like, a thief that's on their last legs, not able to run, and because this old man decided to help him, then he disappears with him, and I'm assuming, you know, that the old man in the robes that are showcased in the curio gets to reap a reward because, hey, they aided Zagreus, so, you know, they deserve a reward for that. Fruit of Whispered Wisdom. Knowledge requires a proper vessel to thrive, much like plants need fertile soil. The Grove Scholars have mastered the art of infusing sacred trees with knowledge, and, with Circe's blessing, they harvest fruits laden with wisdom. These Titan-blessed seeds carry more information than entire libraries and are sent to places in need, where they take root and flourish across the city-states of amphoreus. However, be warned, consuming these fruits will flood your mind with incessant whispers of knowledge, transforming you into a tree before you can resist. Okay, no, wait. I love this curio. This is one of the curios that I always pick whenever I'm doing my runs, and I love it. But also absolutely horrifying. I love the idea of this being filled up with so much knowledge that you can plant it anywhere, and you're essentially planting like a portable library. That is sick. It is horrifying though that if you eat the fruit, then you become the tree. So like, yikes. Glow Up. Once all the rage in amphoreus, this skincare product worked wonders with a simple spray. A veil of golden powder that smoothed wrinkles, brightened, and moisturized the skin. Rumors claimed its essence was drawn from the summit of the hero's bath, retrieved only by Chrysos Air heroes. But as the bath's proprietress grew in divinity, such skincare products vanished completely from the market. You know, it does make sense that once Aglaya became a demigod, all the products that she would be selling would just kind of disappear. Especially because, you know, she is the demigod of beauty, so therefore, something of a beauty product just gone from the market instantly. Goodluck Cookie. Whether they are novice pickpockets or infamous master thieves, they always keep a few Goodluck Cookies in their pocket. These are dry, travel-friendly rations with a rather unappealing taste, rumored to be a recipe personally devised by their grandmaster, Zagreus. The ingredients are simple, just common ingredients like flour, butter, sugar, and salt. But if one happens to bite into the piece containing a hidden coin, they are said to receive the Titan's blessing. This might explain the cookie's odd texture and why so many thieves are missing a corner of a tooth. But who cares? As long as it brings good luck, it's worth the risk. Okay, no wait, I actually do love this, just because finding a coin in, you know, your little packet of cookies seems great. It's a lot of gambling, but it seems funny. And just the fact that it's not even like a scam, because people have actually, you know, broken their teeth by getting coins. It's both hilarious, cool, and just awesome. Hijacking Robot. The first robbery in the history of Alphany since its founding had occurred. Its diverse populace from different planets had coexisted peacefully since it was developed by the IPC as a trade transit hub 2 amber eras ago, maintaining a 0% violent crime rate. When police surrounded the crime scene, a small convenience store, the robber strutted out. This malfunctioning cashier robot claimed to be the vanguard of an alien invasion and demanded all credits. The police resolved the situation with a single volley of bullets, remarking, "What's so great about aliens? We're all aliens here." You know, I really love the idea of a place with so much diversity, so many different communities, all coexisting together, and something breaking the status quo, getting completely deleted because they're being violent in a place where everybody is quote-unquote an outsider, but they're still feeling like at home because they made it their home. Just feels wholesome, except for, you know, like the fact that they just obliterated an individual out of existence. But like, in concept, something peaceful regarding the IPC, wild, but cool. Kill that butterfly. The process of annihilating a chaotic system is like making a specimen. Pin the information, every particle on the board, and still the wings. Then bind the butterfly's path and make reality dance in the way you want it to. Any tiny change would instantly disintegrate the fragile balance. No matter how much the scholars continue to perfect the model, they could only consider the foolish act of unifying the pattern of movement as the hubris of mortals. Therefore, I still clearly remember the first day I killed the butterfly. Even though it was long ago, I remember how the point of the knife stabbed into its chest. I'm sorry, what? Okay, so like this one was just kind of disturbing to read at the end, but like, interesting. Lost Golden Claw Anchor. Oceanic voyages are grueling work. When facing the fickle Figusa, you can never predict whether today's calm waters will give way to tomorrow's towering waves. However, if you possess a lost golden claw anchor, no storm can shake your ship, no matter how fierce they are. The claws come from the foul-hunting golden claw, a great eagle reborn once every 100 years. When its flames burn out, it leaves behind a pair of golden talons. Anything caught in their grasp will never be released unless the proper incantation is uttered, making them the perfect substitute for a ship's anchor. You know, it's really cool how they brought in the myth of the phoenix and sort of incorporated itself into its own little, like, myth within amphoreus, and having a claw that is literally imbued with magic because it is from a very rare mythical beast that comes in one every 100 years is wild, but also so freaking cool. Minotaur Hunt. A set of treasure maps that dynamically track monsters. In the labyrinthine hunting grounds of planet Minotaur, hunting minotaurs was once an incredibly popular activity. However, as minotaurs faced extinction due to environmental degradation, the activity was forcibly suspended 2 amber eras ago. Nevertheless, conservation specialists from the Intelligentsia Guild have implanted tracking chips in every surviving minotaur, and developed a rather reliable population recovery plan. Perhaps in the near future, people will once again be able to shout that classic hunter line in the maze. Holy cow, there's a bull! I genuinely can't. I had to stop for a moment because I was laughing too much at that ending line. You know, it's really cool how they're making sure that like the minotaurs can like return to life. Also, I was surprised that, you know, because it is planet Minotaur, this means that this is not within amphoreus, and I thought the whole minotaur thematic was going to be exclusive to that. So hey, that's really cool. Minotaurs exist somewhere in the universe. The fact that they're being hunted down, like, well, better said, they're being recovered so they can be hunted down in the future again, a little messed up, but at least they're doing work with it, and they're using the tracking devices they were used to hunt now to recover them. So I like that. Regulation Seal. Ever since Aquila's 100 Eyes lost their light, the Regulation Seal has become the sole method of timekeeping in amphoreus. Each day is equally divided into 5 periods according to human habit and behavior, and time pushes the pentagon clock face to slowly turn. This dial not only guards daily routines, but also reveals underlying laws and foretells future events. Over time, this timekeeping system has synchronized with the biological clocks of many citizens, for they naturally wake up at the entry hour and fall asleep at the curtainfall hour. You know, it's really cool to learn more about how amphoreus sort of works, because I remember always hearing, oh yeah, at the entry hour, at the lucid hour. Like, those were the 2 terms I think that we heard most during the amphoreus storyline. But no, there's a whole 5 periods, and I looked them up, and it's really just cool how there just is 5. Because there's the entry hour, the lucid hour, the action hour, the parting hour, and the curtain fall hour. all to determine different points of time in the day. And also, I just like how all of these hours have their own like determination for what people are doing. Like entry hour is everybody like being awakened, so now they're just currently just doing things to get ready for the day. The lucid hour is when they're most awake, so they're currently just like workshopping ideas. And then the action hour is when they actually put those ideas into process and start working with them, before the parting hour, when everybody starts setting up to go back home, and curtain fall, everybody goes to sleep. Just super cool that I now know this, because this curio made me curious about what all these hours were. Steeltorso massage device. The kins of Nikador are feared across amphoreus as relentless war machines, owing not only to the power bestowed by the Strife Titan, but also to their exceptional logistical upkeep. After every battle, the Kremnoans use specially designed massage devices to relax the kin's bodies. These instruments deliver rapid dozen per second strikes, effectively loosening the stiff joints and enhancing combat readiness. The only drawback? The device have notoriously short lifespan. However, the Kremnoans soon discovered that even after retirement, these massage tools could still serve a rather effective role in the interrogation of prisoners of war. I'm sorry. What? So, this is just a lot to unpack in a couple seconds. Because, okay, this thing that is literally like a ball with spikes that is used to massage the kin, right? The Titan kin. Because they're rock. Is used, like, it looks incredibly painful, and you mean to tell me, oh yeah, like, you know, these guys are so, like, tough that they just break these? Yeah, like, so now, because, oh yeah, no, they broke, they're super blunt and super, like, messed up. We will use them now as torture devices. What? It's, the Kremnoans are crazy, and I love them for it, but also I'm horrified by them. You know, this really just made me think, damn, mercy really is not a word in the Kremnoan language. The Stone Mirror of Revelation. The expanse of the land and sea can overwhelm even the learned scholars of Circes, leading them astray. Only with Janus's blessing can true guidance be found. The Stone Mirror of Revelation generously unveils paths, offering just enough light to navigate during the nights when Aquila's all-seeing eyes are shut. At crucial times, the Fate Titans use the mirror to predict impending calamities, guiding people away from the looming disaster with a flickering of stars. Even in its decline, the Gate of Infinity continues to offer its protection to the many descendants of amphoreus. Supreme Glue. When the Golden Banana Planet split into several pieces due to a forbidden experiment, Dr. Primitive merely chuckled and pulled out the Supreme Glue from his pocket, sticking the planetary fragments back together. No one knew why Dr. Primitive initially invented this overpowered adhesive until one day, while evading Ranger's pursuit, he deliberately scattered some mass-produced Supreme Glue across the universe for passing merchant ships to collect. This genius creation that could fix anything instantly caused an uproar across the cosmos. Some used it to build houses, while others installed bombs. One even tried to mend a broken relationship, and when that failed, they settled for gluing themselves to their partner, never to part again. You know, everything was going so well until that final part of the paragraph. Because I was like, oh, he's gonna use this to, like, glue the Rangers and escape. First thought, wrong. But then I was like, okay, you know what, that makes so much sense. Like, releasing it to the mass public, gonna cause a lot of uproar, a lot of chaos. Great. I did not expect the chaos to be that big, to going from, oh yeah, people are building houses and installing bombs. I'm like, pardon my French, but what? And the last part, just like, oh, you know, like, these people glued themselves to their partner. Psychotic as hell. Horrifying. Telepathic Fork. Some radical members of the Universal Culinary Society believe that eating and hunger are the premium mobile of the path of veracity, but consuming food prepared by others is heresy. Insisting on personally completing the entire process from slaughter to cooking and tenderizing meat through life or death combat, they forged these thermal weapons, which was meant for heating. The outcome, however, often ends up with the ingredients being blasted into charcoal. At first I was like, ooh, a fork is a weapon, pretty cool. You get to use it to just prepare everything. And I was like, maybe this could, maybe these people really are cooking. And they just made something that like completely turned something into charcoal because the heat is so strong and I'm so disappointed. But like, I love their dedication. I love the idea. Combat chefs is such a funny little concept in my brain, but they completely messed up and they burned the kitchen. Do not let these men cook again. The Sleepless Owl. Long ago, humans tried to map the vastness of amphoreus with their steps. Yet the speed of their gait was far too slow to capture the world's entire expanse. Seeking to break free from the constraints of gravity, Aquila's scholar, Ritzwer, crafted an iron bird that could fly by merely harnessing the brilliance of the Titans. This iron bird captured the landscape in its pupils with such precision that rivers and mountains were shrunk into maps on his desk. Before each flight, the scholars of Aquila would offer their devout praises, believing their faith would grant the iron bird greater speed and stability. You know what? This just makes me appreciate this curios design so much more, because now realizing that blue gem within its forehead is actually meant to be like the camera is absolutely beautiful in its design. I wish this, iron bird was actually made out of gold because it's yellow in color and I feel like that fits it more. But hey, I mean, all these birds are iron, so go pop off. Wishing scales. There is a well-known saying in amphoreus: observe patterns, summarize patterns, utilize patterns. A certain missionary of Talanton was undoubtedly the finest practitioner of this philosophy. She took advantage of how Talanton's sacred scales would automatically rebalance to get people to make wishes on one side of the scale. And if the wish was fulfilled, an equivalent reward would manifest on the other side. In other words, if the wish failed, no harm was done. If it succeeded, the reward was doubled. Through this miraculous display, many came to recognize Talanton's power and willingly became devoted followers. Ooh, I really love this curio. Just as a whole, because I love the idea of someone finding a loophole to exploit the system and make sure that they, everybody reaps a reward from it. But at the same time, it's not anything that's going to bring in harm to anybody. Like, they made sure that no harm would ever come to the people that are wagering on a bet. It's always you either win or nothing happens. You just wasted your time, but it's better wasting your time than like dying or getting other bad consequences, right? I do have to say, now that I'm reading all this and looking at the curio, doesn't that like curio look like it has a sad face and it's crying? Is that just me? Am I just imagining it? I don't know. And with that, we have gone over the lore of every single 2-star curio that can be found within the Divergent universe, Protean Hero. In all honesty, a lot of these were a lot of fun. As always in this freaking series, learning more about Castrum Kranos is both horrifying but genuinely a lot of fun because it's so absurd that it is funny, but like if you put it within the context of the world, it is horrifying. But like it makes me love the concept, if that makes sense. I don't know. Just the massage device broke my mind. The Arena of the Strong in the previous video, that one was just mind-blowing. Yeah, no, they're completely insane, and like being weak does not exist in the Cromnoan language. Ooh, and you know, another word that probably doesn't exist in the Cromnoan language is subscribe. Yeah, this is my plug. Anyways, if you enjoy this sort of content and would like to see more, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It genuinely helps out the channel a lot. And, you know, it's free. It only takes a second. And if at any point you feel like, you know, the type of content no longer vibes with you, you can always just unsubscribe at any point in time. You're more than welcome to do so. If you wish to see more content now, feel free to check out the playlist that goes over all the other curios, all the way from the original simulated universe to the current date, as well as the equation series, because a lot of those really do provide a lot of world building, and it's really fascinating to learn about these factions. So it's been a lot of fun being able to interact with you guys down in the comments. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching all the way up to this point into the video. As always, you guys are all great, and I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, morning, or whatever time zone you're currently watching this video at. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.